Mm-hmm.
My guy.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Check. Check
Here you
this
go.
out.
I'm sure
Check
you
this
got
out.
yourself in some bullshit somewhere.
whatever, niggas.
That's
I mean,
right.
whatever. Check this out, man. So, this week, I know you're gonna make fun of your boy, but I don't give a fuck. So this week, I went to the nail salon. My nails look like some straight shit. So I went to the nail salon, right? And I was getting a manicure. And the woman that was doing my nails, shut the fuck up. The woman that was doing my nails, she's as an African that knows plenty of fobs, she was a fob. She just got here. She had to have accent thicker than gravy. Boy, it was ridiculous. So after she finishes cutting my nails, do my cuticles, and rubbing the oil on my hand, she said, "Do you want a hand job?" And I looked at her like,
hold on, you actually stuttered?
"What a hand job?" And I was like, and I'm there with people around. I'd slide to the side like, am I the only motherfucker that just heard this shit? And she said it again, and then I was like I was just blown. And then one of her friends, I guess, overheard, one of the other techs overheard. And I guess they started speaking in Vietnamese or whatever they were speaking. She was like, she just wants to know, do you want her to massage your hands? And I was like, oh, shit. I was having heart palpitations and emotions. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this place?
You got nervous because somebody offered you a hand job?
Nigga. Listen, I only
is that what your life
Elgin,
is like?
Elgin,
you struggle with those type of sexual advances?
Elgin, listen. I don't have much. I don't need my wife taking half of much. I don't need my wife taking half of much of what I've got. So you can be easy with them type.
Oh no! Don't throw this to me.
Nah,
they
you can throw all this.
You hand jobs, bro.
Whatever, nigga. I'm throwing
multiple
all of that
times. She asked you 3 times. Damn, you want a hand job or nah, bro? Fuck wrong with you? Take that hand job, man.
And I think the look on her face, I think is what got her. On my face is what got her, because when she said that shit, I was like,
because you insulted her. That's why. Because you turned down her hand job.
Hold up.
I mean, you said it. It's
called a manicure. I'm being corrected in the comments. It's called a manicure.
But I'm proud of you though, man. You're taking care of yourself though. That's good. That's good.
Nigga, my hands was looking like some of these cigars and shit. I had to take care of it. It was just too much.
Soap and lotion, bro.
No, shut the fuck up. It's not just soap and lotion, nigga.
Soap and lotion, bro.
That's why your hands look like them damn Al Blancos, brother. Your hands looking like them damn Al Blancos.
You got to take care of these babies, bro.
No doubt. Listen. No doubt. No bullshit. And real talk, one of my homies, he called me out. And this dude, he takes very good care of himself. I'm not going to lie. He takes very good care of himself. And I took a picture of one of the cigars that I recently bought. And he saw it. He's like, my guy, you need a manicure. And I was like, yeah.
He's all the way into it.
He called me out real hard too.
Man, you know what? If I send a picture of my hand to some dude and he responds back that I need to get I'm cussing him all the way out. Like, motherfucker, I'll send you a picture of the cigar.
He forgot all about the cigars. Yeah. Like, nigga, just go take care of your hands.
Leave my cuticles alone.
Cuticles was trash, my guy. Cuticles was some straight trash. No bullshit.
Cash out, bro. Shit. you that concerned?
You that
motherfucker? Shit.
Don't get me in trouble, man. Shit. Yes. Welcome. What's up? What is up? Back once again. It is the Incredible in the Black podcast. And in case you weren't aware, this is a podcast dedicated to covering the current events and social issues going on in your black world, and covering it all from the perspective of 3 grown-ass men who try as best as they can to take care of themselves. I am your host, Big O, Mr. in the Black, but you know I can never do this alone. Since there's only 2 of us today, who do you want to be tonight, man?
I don't care, bro.
Be Mobb Deep.
Okay, shit.
Let me introduce the rest of Mobb Deep. L, say what's up, man.
Are you the dead guy or which
nigga? One? What the fuck?
I swear y'all be thinking that my mom and daddy failed me, bro. Listen, man, they did a good job, bro.
You are truly the reason why we get all the hate mail that we fucking get, my guy. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm glad our listeners can write.
making you shut the fuck up. And if you're checking this out on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, helps it go a long way. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well so that you don't miss out on the next video. Hit that bell also as well so you get a reminder and all that other stuff. And make sure you follow us across social media at In the Black PDCST, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff. And at your mama's house. Make sure we make sure you support and go to our website as well. L, if you want, I mean, you seem to be enamored with disrespecting our viewers and our listeners. But how can you tell these folks how they can become part of the family if they dare?
They probably won't. I mean, shit.
Not
they trying to figure out their mama's rabbit
bullshit.
ears on the TV.
Not after all that bullshit.
Hey, man, listen, but go ahead over to our website, sincerely, at intheblackpodcast.com. And in the right-hand corner, you can click Become Family tab. There, you can become a part of our family, literally. You can buy some of our swag, T-shirts, mugs, all types of shit, hoodies, a little bit of everything. But also, you can actually become a financial supporter of what we're doing. You can join our Patreon, or you can donate straight to what we're trying to build here, man. At $ in the Black PDCST. And sincerely, it costs money to do this shit. As much time as we really like being with y'all and laughing and joking and giving y'all news and information from a Black perspective, this shit ain't free. So feel free to donate, man, and come through and join and help out. I mean, stop freeloading. Shit.
Yeah. Why don't you do what you're supposed to do, good motherfucker?
Yeah. But one of the things that we've been talking about on this show for a while, man, is the importance of mental health, importance of physical health. So what we tend to do each and every show is what we like to call a pies check-in. And a pies check-in is when we ask each of the hosts how they're doing physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, they can do a 1 to 10 type of scale, or they can be specific. But what they can't do is not answer the damn questions. So, Sean, bro, pies check-in. Go ahead. Start off.
Man, this week I'm a lot better than I was the previous weeks. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Physically, I'm good. Intellectually, I'm in a good spot. Emotionally, I think I'm about a 6 or a 7. Only reason for that is my day job. I'm looking to get some more coins, and there are obstacles that are holding me back from getting more coins. So I'm looking to see what that's going to look like in the next couple of weeks or so. Spiritually, the same deal, man. So you got to be prayed up. If you're not prayed up, you at least meditate and do all those sorts of things. So I'm good. This week, I'm good, man. How about you?
Oh, man. Physically, my lower back has been hurting, man. Years ago, I hurt my back working at a job, and when the weather changes, it just starts acting up. So I just really got to make sure I'm doing my stretches and stop fucking bullshitting. Yeah. Intellectually, I'm really on a high. Been out of school for the past 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I start back on Monday. So I've been actually just, man, reading comics, reading trash fiction, anything that is just intellectual but don't mean shit. So I've been doing that, you know what I mean, just to kind of, filter some shit out. Emotionally, man, I'm trash. My good childhood friends, man, died suddenly here last week. So tomorrow's the wake, Saturday is the funeral, and just dealing with the grief. I hate both of them type of environments, man.
Condolences, my guy.
So it's going to be a heavy weekend. Spiritually, I'm pretty good, man. Like Sean said, man, do some sort of spiritual activity. You don't necessarily got to follow the footsteps of any particular religion, but do something to stimulate and to encourage yourself from a spiritual standpoint, man. So pies check-in, ladies and gentlemen. Try that shit by yourself sometimes and be honest with yourselves about where you are. Sean.
No doubt. Condolences, my guy. I know what this can be like, man, when you suddenly lose somebody that you've been you've known for how many donkey years?
Man, I've known this dude for 30 years, bruh.
Jesus
30.
Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Sorry, man.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a rough weekend.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was looking at something the other day. Now we don't want to go too off on a tangent, but I was looking at something the other day. One of the kid stars from the movie Talladega Nights recently passed away. 28 years old, committed suicide. Oof. And it just, when I was reading it, man, like the first thing I thought was, damn, 28, and then damn, he committed suicide. It's like, we got to check in on our folks, man. Sometimes we say we all right, but we're not always all right, man. So, yeah. All right. We're going to jump into the black box letter for tonight, and the black box letter for tonight is a very interesting one, man. It comes from the homie Malcolm.
Malcolm he put his name on this shit?
What's up, brothers? My name is Malcolm, and I'm 26 years old. I've been checking out your show ever since a while back when you had a defense attorney on to explain what to do when we got pulled over by the police. Since then, I try to make sure that I catch all the episodes I can. Hearing OG speak the truth the way you guys have been has been great to me. Since listening to you guys, I've tried to make it my priority to take my physical and mental health more seriously. So thank you for that. But here is my problem. As much as I've grown in the past year, there are still things that I'm working on, and I think I got myself into a situation. I had an incident 2 years ago where I found where I got clowned about my sexual performance in a group chat that a girl I was seeing was a part of. I'm not going to lie to you. The whole experience messed me up. Flash forward to August of last year, and I meet an older woman, 40 years old, on POF. Before the first time we had sex, I took Viagra so that I wouldn't have the same experience. Sex with her is and has been great. The problem is that I've been taking pills since then to get right, and she doesn't know. I don't know how to tell her. I'm really at a loss right now because I'm starting to dig her, and this is slowly becoming more than physical. I'm really worried about what would happen if she found out.
Malcolm. Jeez, bro.
My guy.
Damn. Hey, I'm gonna tell you the truth about
my guy.
I can hit you with a
hold up. No,
a clip full of jokes.
Back up, because I know this was my fear when I got this letter that you was going to be in it, and I know how you negate other people's feelings sometimes when you start to speak.
No, let me finish though, bro.
Be gentle with this man.
Listen, man, I was going to say that, like Malcolm, I could hit you with 2 full clips of jokes right now, bro. The fucking jokes, the jokes write themselves, bro. Listen, I don't have to do no work here. I can just blow you away.
But you the worst.
You don't need jokes right now, man. You really need some good fucking strong counsel. And one of the things that you really have to understand, a couple of things. First off, women talk to other women about men's sexual performance as much or more than men talk to other men about women's sexual performance. So the fact that you read some shit in a group chat that some woman said that you was interested in about your sexual performance, you cannot allow that to fuck with you in the manner where you begin to do potentially damage that can never be corrected by taking Viagra all the time, bro. You too young currently to be experiencing those types of sexual difficulties. Now, here's one of the reasons why you may be experiencing these sexual difficulties is because the shit that you read in the group chat, dog, fucked your head up so bad that now you don't even trust your sexual performance anymore, and you leaning on something that is not a natural enhancing capabilities, to the point where you falling in love with some 40-year-old chick who done put it on you, and you can't even trust yourself to do shit right way because you done still fucked up about what this girl put in the group chat. So the reality of it is, bro, you got 2 options here. First option is stop the fucking Viagra and take your ass to a fucking counselor if you feel that bad. Your self-esteem is damaged that severely that you are leaning on something else. Go see somebody, brother, because I'm almost guaranteed that in some other area in your life, your fucking self-esteem is trashed there too, to the point where you're leaning on this to do it. The second option is, bruh, keep taking it and suffer the consequences that comes along with it, that when you do get 40, you really gonna need Viagra, because your body has adjusted and adapted to needing. It's just like any other drug, bro.
Nigga,
like
it gets worse than that, man. It gets worse than that shit, dude. Like,
it ain't healthy, bro. It ain't healthy
for
you at 25 to be taking Viagra on that level. And the reality of it is, if you want to be honest with this old head, bro, listen, she done been around for a while, bro. She ain't gonna deal with you lying to her ass all the time. Anybody got time for that shit?
Not even just that, but honestly, older women are probably going to be more understanding given the circumstances. They've been around.
You dare tell them that, man, that lie.
No. That's not a lie, because like you just said, they've had the experience. They've been around the block. It's not like this is going to be the first time.
And them motherfuckers is tired. They ain't putting up with that shit no longer. Man, listen. Some of you older women that's in the chat, tell the truth. If this motherfucker, you know damn well you ain't got the patience, Danielle. I see you. I know you ain't got the damn patience to do. I know you ain't got the patience to deal with that shit. I know you would be throwing him and everything out the damn door. But seriously, he has to make better choices in this situation. He can't continue to be on this path.
Yeah, no bullshit.
He can't. Health wise, it's just not healthy for you, bro. Honestly, you talking about in one breath that you listening to us about your mental
and he's getting
health.
better. And I think hold on, we're just going to take excuse me if we take full credit for you trying to make this transformation of yours, Malcolm.
Well, obviously your ass ain't listening. He's listening.
He's listening. He wrote in. He needs the advice. Hopefully,
and his name ain't Malcolm
help him I know it's probably a pseudonym. He is like Dr. Seuss. This ain't his real name.
You ain't right me with your real name.
No, he did. But real talk though, man. All jokes aside, I think this is like, you go down this. I got the letter and I started reading it, and I was like flabbergasted, right? Like you said, 20 some odd years old. What the hell? And I can understand in some capacity, like you have the performance anxiety and all that other stuff, but then you start reading some of the research behind it, or some of the details behind the industry, for lack of a better description. And the industry's almost intentionally is targeting kids Malcolm's age, man. Like when you go to some of these sites, it looks like it is designed specifically for Gen Z, millennial age folks that technically at their age do not need the medication. One thing that I saw that was also so ridiculous. Do you know now that there are so many sites that you can go and legally get Viagra? I'm not talking about like the gas station pills. I'm talking about Viagra without a doctor's prescription. There are sites. There's one site that just launched earlier in last year, I think, or the end of the year before, called Viagra Connect. In the first 12 weeks, of that site launching, they made $8.6 million.
But think about it though, man. Remember, we live in a capitalistic society. Motherfuckers who invented Viagra didn't invent Viagra so you can get your joint up so you can enjoy your sexual life better. They created Viagra ultimately for them to make more money. So if they already have the older generation locked in, you already got the older generation locked. It only makes sense from a marketing standpoint to do what?
But hold on. This is, and that was one of the things that I read that really kind of blew my mind and made me kind of also feel a little bit sorry for Malcolm in this instance. That not only are they targeting people like Malcolm, they're playing in on that anxiety. And I've read reports where it says doctors across the country are saying that their caseload in terms of who they give these ED pills to are almost triple that in people's Malcolm's age than those 40 and above.
But also think of it too. One of the reasons why the younger generation are also needing these types of things is why? Because porn usage, for one, is at an all-time high. And without going down this particular path, you can't spend most of your days, your youth, masturbating and watching porn and not think when you get older you're not going to have some sort of issues with your
perception
penis
of what sex.
It's just like any other thing. The more wear and tear you put on it and the younger, the worse off and the least it works when you get older. But it's just we got to be mindful. And the problem is, Malcolm, you got to be careful of everybody in some sense, one time or another, has had performance anxiety or some sort of issue.
No, you're right. You're right.
And it can just simply be you're overexcited. It can be something as small as you didn't had too much caffeine.
Facts.
Or it could be the fact that this woman is so attractive. These things actually happen. But because men don't typically have these conversations about performance anxiety, not being able to get it up, ejaculating too fast, we don't have these open conversations, because when we do, we looked at as a punk and that we ain't no good sexually. Don't be too hard on yourself, bro. And it's affecting you too bad, man. Go see a counselor for real.
Listen, my guy. I think I think we'd be remiss if we didn't delve into that a little bit more, man. That is, I think, the bigger issue at hand. The society, men and women at this point, the expectations that we put on men or their sexuality. And I think that we wear that in some instances like a badge of honor, like, how many women you knock down or how long you can last and all that other stuff. But if you're not one of those guys, the level of fear, anxiety that you feel, I can understand how it can be debilitating. I had to reach out to some of, because I want to make sure that I get the spectrum right. And I asked some of our gay homies. Matter of fact, I asked Bizarre the other day, earlier today, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, does this even happen in the gay community? I mean, if you have men that are I wanted to make sure I said as men,
the conversation
not the conversation, but do you put these types of expectations on other men, given that you all understand what it is like, right? You understand what that is like." And he was like, shit, that shit probably happens more in the gay community than it happens in the straight community. At least that women can temper your egos and all that other stuff. But men, they're like, there's certain expectation that men put on men. And it's true. If you've been a teenager, middle school, in a boys' locker room, you know what it's like to feel physically inadequate or feel like you don't belong, or whatever the case is. Talk less as you get older as a young man, developing and not knowing the ropes or whatever you want to call it, and having these expectations on you, or you internalizing the wrong expectations, and then how that manifests itself in your relationships. It's going to come out like this in some capacity, right?
Yeah. So I Malcolm, go to a doctor, man. Have a conversation with your doctor, bro, and talk to your doctor. So and we're not even going to talk about how you're getting the Viagra. We're not even going to have that conversation about how you're getting it, because I know how much folks are selling one of these pills for, bro. I know, and just keeping it a buck, to the point where a homie of mine sells them, right? And he was like, man, this is such an easy hustle. He's like, bro, all you got to do is go to the doggone doctor and tell the doctor this. He going to write your prescription. And the amount of money you make off of one pill. And I was just like, bro, but just morally, that's just not my thing. I just can't. But
so he was trying to put you on as a hustle.
He was trying to put me on as a hustle because folks sell that. And man, listen, man, this is such a layered rabbit hole-ish topic that is so intertwined with masculinity, regardless if it's heterosexual or homosexual. The masculine component of making sure that you're able to perform and living up to some sort of sexual standard that we have put on each other, bro, it's scary. And yeah. And you got sons.
Yeah, man. I don't know how I'm going. Well, I won't say that. I think that honestly, that I'd have an opportunity. Me and my son, I talk to my son, and I'm hoping that doesn't change the older he gets. I'm going to make sure that doesn't change. But to your point earlier, man, like I said, man, when you start going down this rabbit hole, it's really ridiculous. Said that Viagra or erectile dysfunction medication is the most counterfeited drug in the entire world, and that combined
in the world
of all these erectile dysfunction drugs, all of them, Viagra, Cialis, all of the ones that you can name, right? That combined per year, they are a $500 billion business.
So it only makes sense that they begin to marketing to young people, doesn't it?
$500 billion, and that's the legitimate way. Talk less of the folks that are, like you said, doing it on the hustle.
And we put such a heavy emphasis, man, on
Male
sex,
sexuality and virility,
on male sexuality, that it's just such a standard and such a thing that you really can't live up to it, man. You just can't, and that's why so many dudes are lying and doing the things that like Malcolm is doing, because of the pressure that has been put on them by society, that trickles down to the pressure that we put on ourselves. Next thing you know, we're popping pills and we're lying to women that we're falling in love with. But
well, we didn't answer Malcolm. Well, I think we did. I think you did. But I'll say this as well.
Go to the doctor.
Besides going to the doctor, because the side effects and all that other shit that comes with continually doing Viagra is not a fucking joke. But besides that, you gotta tell this woman the truth, man. You've honestly been living a pseudo lie.
Me and O disagree yet.
I know, dude, my guy. I think he needs to tell her in some capacity, because what I'm assuming is going to happen. He cuts that shit cold turkey, and then his performance drops off, and she's wondering what's going on. And you know, just like
I think
anybody,
at that point in time, you tell her. That point in time,
so you think wait until that becomes a problem before you say anything,
and you begin to cut back, go the natural route. There's a ton of natural supplements that you can take potentially out there that can help out. Just look at that. But I don't think that you go into it and be like, oh, you know, I've been popping Viagra to get it up, and so every time that I'm knocking your back out, the reason why I'm able to knock your back out is because I'm taking Viagra. So the next time I try to knock it back out, if I don't knock it all the way out, halfway out, there's a reason why it's the Viagra. She gonna look at you like, motherfucker, what are you talking about? Like, what? No, so you wait, bro. You cut back, you figure out something else to do, and then you know, if your performance is still failing, then you have a conversation together, because she might be able to stimulate you in some ways that you no longer need Viagra pills, bro.
So hold up. I'm very surprised to even hear you say this. You, Mr. Be open and honest dialogue 24/7. You shouldn't be afraid to have these conversations. And now you're telling this dude to continue to live the lie until she turns around and makes it an issue.
And the reason why I don't think he should tell her, because at the moment, the lie is not being harmful to either one of them at the moment. It's a victimless lie, essentially. It's not like
it is a victim.
I ain't touching that, bro. Nope. But I'm just saying, at the moment, he doesn't have to have that conversation with her, because I just don't think that he needs to have that conversation at the moment. If his performance continues, it falls because he doesn't take it anymore, I think then you have a bigger conversation, a better conversation. Mm-hmm. But again, Malcolm, this is one of those great things that if you're really into her and you've fallen for her, you should be able to have open conversations with each other about sex, things you like, things you don't like, things that might stimulate you more that she's able to do or willing to do.
Yeah,
take a risk, bro.
Yeah,
she's 40. She done
been around the block. I'm assuming.
I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna call her that. I ain't gonna say that. Nope.
You know what? You know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what? Let me clarify myself. I don't need an Elgin letter coming in the mailbox this week. This woman has lived long enough to experience.
Oh, you tried. You can't do it. Leave it alone, bro. Leave it alone.
Yeah, let me put the shovel down. All jokes aside, Malcolm, make sure you have these conversations, man. You should be having these genuine and open conversations about what it takes to be a good partner anyway, regardless of if you're taking the pills or you're not taking the pills. So, I mean, man, I hate your ass so much. You make simple shit so fucking difficult, motherfucker.
You were going to talk about her experience, bro. Do you know how that was going to sound?
Listen. I didn't ask for her. I wasn't talking about her body count. I was just saying the fact that she's. Shut up! I hate you. God damn it, Malcolm. Thank you for writing in, man. I appreciate you being brave enough to share this with us, even though we know Malcolm's not your real name. But I'm going to reach back out and thank you for writing the letter. And we'll send you an In the Black Podcast t-shirt for you being open and honest. And a matter of fact, let us know how it goes, Matt, for real. Like after you've had this conversation with her, I'd hate for you to be in another
group chat
if
you don't tell.
Elgin's gonna pay for the both of those jokes, motherfucker. Stupid ass.
True, bro.
No, nigga. You stupid. All right. Next on the docket, man. Go ahead, L. We'll close. We'll start with that other foolishness. Talking about sex. That's your man's, by the way. But go ahead.
I have nothing to do with this dude, man. So let's. I know everybody and their mama know. You just seen this dude, the muscle bound, dark skinned dude sitting in a compact car giving out relationship advice to people. Well, Derrick Jaxn, who spells his name with an X.
J-A-X-N.
You know he's an asshole. He can't even spell Jackson correctly. Well, anyway, this internet relationship guru got exposed for cheating on his wife. And man, when I tell you that all shit hit the fan, this has been one of the most literally fascinating things I have ever seen before in my life.
Why you say that?
Because I believe in transparency. I believe in honesty. I believe in integrity. I believe that people, when they get caught in public doing things, that there should be some sort of public acknowledgement to the wrongdoing. And he did just that. He did. But he held his wife's hand. And when I first saw that video, okay, so let me go back. Let me back up a little bit, like Sean would say. Let's back up a little bit. So after he gets caught, he does a video by himself on YouTube where he kind of dances around the whole situation. He really doesn't get into the nitty gritty of things. He kind of blames, everybody else. Well, just another day later, he drops a video where he's holding his wife's hand. And he begins to have a conversation talking about what's taking place, what happened. And he's relatively honest about what was going on. He really didn't duck and dodge. He didn't give a whole lot of specifics, granted. He did say he had sex with other women. He did do all that. But I felt sympathy for his wife at that moment. At that moment, I felt sympathy because it really looked like she was a woman under duress. And sincerely, I mean, I'm not even joking here and being facetious. She really looked like she was a woman under duress. Yeah, I think she was looking straight at the camera. She was, he was holding her hand with his vice grip, and the hand was in his lap, and she just looked like
she really didn't want to be there, my guy.
She really didn't want to be there. I can only imagine not wanting to be there.
Right.
But then it doesn't stop there. Like, next thing you know, he's promoting a book. Where in the book, he's talking about how him and his wife have worked through the issues. And I'm like, hold on, time out. How did you write the book so fast? Like, you just got the video last week, bro. You
right.
You're dropping a video about how you and your wife worked through it. And then not even to mention the way he took the Christian faith and manipulated it, molded it, and turned it into this horrible piece of it was just the things that he was saying was, and then of course the great third person video where he goes back to the compact car
where he reviews his own shit
t-shirt on and this medium Scully and reviews his own. It was just like, this dude literally is a sociopath. Okay.
My guy, the whole thing has been
is nuts.
That's a
She's
whole
a bag of peanuts herself.
That's a whole nother thing, my guy. That's a whole other thing, my guy. Like, you know what?
The video? Did you see the video that his wife did?
I saw
where
the
she
first
said the
one.
bonnet was the helmet of salvation. Malcolm, you don't get the jokes. But Derrick Jaxn's wife, she gets the jokes because that shit was crazy.
It really rubbed me the wrong way, and I felt bad for feeling that way initially because, like,
his wife or
it's in its entirety, motherfucker. But because you see the video, him cheat on his wife. I mean, I feel bad for the woman for having to deal with that. But then on top of that, what he does in his personal life is his personal business, right? He's the one that chose to make it public. And when he chose to make it public, not only did he make it public, but then he dragged his wife along, right?
Yeah.
So you see this video of him holding his wife's hand, and you're looking at her looking like she's in a hostage situation, and you want to ask her to blink twice if she's okay. And then at the end of the video, you're like, damn, I feel bad for this woman. Like somebody go call the police and have a wellness check or something. Like that's how bad.
911. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like really that bad.
Seriously.
And then she releases her video, and then subsequently the second video. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, he's got the right one. That's the reason why he can do and say the things that he's been able to say and do and get away with it. And then on top of that, now to try and monetize and capitalize on all of this foolishness. Let me ask you, how did you feel when you found out that this dude was selling a goddamn book after all of these videos popped out? Like, it really caught me off guard. I wasn't surprised. Man, it caught me off guard, but I wasn't surprised, and sincerely.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm surprised that this dude had the biggest following that he did. I listen, I always thought that he was one of them trash ass internet comedians who do the guys who do the comedian skits that are not funny. Right. Kevin on stage, you know what I'm talking about. It's the guys like that. The ones like that are not funny.
Why are you you are such a fucking asshole? God damn. What, man? This is what you do? Malcolm, why do you listen to this fucking show with this dude? You know what? Go ahead. Just keep saying what you're saying, man.
Listen, I thought he was one of those guys, though. But then to come out and find out, this dude has a major following. But I always hated him because everything that he did was just shitting on black men all the time. It was always like, and I say shitting on black men because he never put the full context of situations that both sides. It was always like he was really simping for black women, and it was just like, damn, why the hell are black women following this motherfucker like this? I don't understand. Like, y'all hate being lied to, but you're following this line.
You following this line like shit, no doubt, man, no doubt.
But what then was the book? Sean, tell me how he did the book that fast, bro. How do you do the book that fast where you're talking about you cheating on your wife when you just got caught cheating on your wife? I don't understand.
Listen, so,
like, they already know?
No, and you know what? I think I need someone in the comments or someone ultimately to explain this and clarify this for me, because from what some of the stuff that I've read says that all of the incidences happened about 4 years ago, and they were able to rectify. And they're just finding everything out now, and through that process, that's how we wrote the book. But then there's some other folks who are like you said, that it was maybe like a month or two ago. So it's not like it was that long ago, and that's all of a sudden that's when all this nonsense happened. So I need somebody to help me clarify what the timeline is. So
somebody said the book was already out. Okay, so the incidents must have been old incidents.
Interesting.
And again, the question would be at that point in time, if these incidences were old, you and your wife have already subsequently worked out with a trash form of Christianity. You guys have moved past all this. You've reconciled all of these different things. Your wife knew about all of it. Why the fuck come out with a video now? Explain it. At this point in time, bro, me and my wife have gotten to a great place off the bullshit that I've done. She's still here. And now I'm going to drag her on fucking camera to talk about the shit that we didn't already work through. Like, who in the hell is going to be going through all this shit again?
As someone who is, I won't say religious because we're not necessarily religious, but we are spiritual in nature in the way we are.
I like God. He likes me sometimes.
Yeah. We have a good relationship. How did you feel about this manipulation of the Bible? Because some of that powers and principalities and the way she was talking
was sad.
It made me feel like she was a zealot. She didn't explain it in a way that was consumable for general consumption. She was talking like she was a zealot. And that not only rubbed me the wrong way, but I know it rubbed a lot of people that call themselves Christians the wrong way. How did you feel about it?
It didn't necessarily bother me. It didn't bother me from the standpoint of, I tend to try to not look at people's personal positive behavior as a sign of their relationship with the deity. But they're the fruit that we display. Like common sense and, compassion towards people that you love tend to be signs to me that you have some relationship with some spiritual being. And the way he treated his wife was such a nonchalant, almost like, yeah, we worked through this. That to me was like, oh, okay, the moment. But I've come to expect Black folks that when they get caught up in bullshit to start spitting some religious mumbo jumbo. Because
don't say that, because come on, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anytime that we find ourselves in some sort of shit situation, particularly when we refuse to take personal responsibility for our bullshit, we always want to point to God and say, well, God is still working on me. And he just may be doing that, but we tend to use God as a holy custodian to come through and sweep and mop our bullshit up when we can just be accountable for our shit and then say, God, you know what? I'm glad you gave me the mop and broom to clean up my own shit. I appreciate that. But we always want to push it off on God because we may not be a Christian people, but we're a deeply spiritual people, and we tend to fall for when people do that type of stuff. And I expected him to do that. And let me be even more egregious to some of you, because Black women tend to be more spiritual and more Christian than Black men. It only makes sense that if your biggest demographic happens to be aiming towards Black women, that you're going to pull some Christian bullshit out of your ass to get.
No, I can dig it. The thing that really got
me.
I
hate him though. I do. I hate the dude.
Yeah. No bullshit. He's
trash. Crazy, but I hate him too.
He's trash all the way around. I don't think that's disputable at this point. But I think one of the things that really got me was some of the comments that we started seeing in his feed as we're going through, as this incident are unfolding. You had some women coming out and saying, "Hold up, I've been following you. I dropped men because of the suggestions that you made, men that now that I'm reflecting on it were good men, and here you are outside doing the same bullshit." And I'm like,
but you can't be mad at him that you listen to a dude in a tight ass shirt sitting in a Honda Civic giving you fucking relationship advice. Why are you mad at him?
You
click on a dude on Facebook and listen to his damn relationship advice. You wonder why your fucking relationship fell apart.
Listen, this is a big world. There's a lot of people in it, and a lot of those people are looking for help in some way or form, man.
I'll let you be the nice guy.
No, you know it's 100%. We literally just gave Malcolm advice like in the last panel.
Well, we did. I told Malcolm a lie, so don't listen. I mean, obviously you can't listen to
obviously we know who the troublemaker is. Goddamn it, we already know that. But no, all jokes aside, man, I'm looking at how this thing is unfolding, and I think one of the biggest disappointments for me, and I'm predicting it here, is as much as he's probably going to have a fall off in followership, I don't think it's going to be by much.
Bro, I don't think he is. I'm telling you. Matter of fact, listen, man.
No, I know that the folks have dropped him
Jackson
because they believe he's trash.
I am going to go see either TD Jakes, John Gray, or another one of these big, so-called mega church pastors and have a sit down. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have a conversation with Oprah. All I gotta do is get somewhere and be in a public setting where I can actually tell my story and show some sort of forgiveness and maybe drop a scripture. Bruh, that bounce back is beautiful, bruh. That bounce back is Beyonce after baby bounce back. You hear what I'm saying?
and he's getting the bag on top of that shit, my guy.
Bag, bro. Come on now.
I can't think about this. We had one of our folks in the comment section say that we should mention that he committed adultery multiple times. Yes, that is the case. But it seems like people that involve themselves in situations like that it's not really a big issue for many people. Like look at fucking what's bald-headed dude's name with the big mustache? Steve Harvey. Look at Steve Harvey. How many times has that dude been married? How many? And he's told you the reason why him and his wives divorced before. But people seem to continue to seek out advice from folks like all jokes aside, like people seek out advice from folks like him. And I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying, listen, my guy, like you said before, you're not going to be seeking out advice from somebody that you know already told you that they have these issues and has done it multiple times and hasn't proven that they've resolved themselves as of yet. I mean,
but I tend to believe, man, that when people tell the truth about where they are in situations,
you got to believe them.
I think people tend to gravitate to that. So if he would have actually been a little bit more open about some of his struggles, I think things might have been a little bit different for him. I don't think he would have faced the type of, vitriol that he's experienced. I'm just glad to see that so many black women are angry with him. I love that. I'm like, yo, burn his ass to the stake. He deserves it.
Listen, let me ask you this question then, man. Because we look at people like this and we gravitate towards them for some sort of insight into how we can change our life in some capacity, whatever that capacity is, to be more like them or to be more prosperous, right? And there's the argument that it's those people that are open with their mistakes that you should listen to the most because they've already gone through the shit and they know how better to explain it. For me, I don't take it that way. I'm not going to take relationship advice from Steve Harvey that seems to have been falling on his ass over and over again. I'll listen to Steve Harvey about what it takes to be persistent in life because he's gone through some shit. We know there are parts of his life that he can explain very well that I'll take, without any hesitation. But that relationship shit, I don't know. And then on top, for me personally, because it doesn't seem like after 3 marriages, it still seems like you didn't like, you know what I'm saying?
I do, but I guess the thing that I wouldn't listen to Steve Harvey if he wasn't honest about his faults in the failed 3 marriages. Like, I can't listen to you if you just going to ignore the fact that you did some fuck shit in these.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah,
but I don't. Why are you listening to Steve Harvey anyway? Have you seen this dude's mustache?
Nick.
Any man who walks around with a mustache like that is a sociopath.
Is something wrong with him? There's something wrong with him. Hold up, man. I've heard people say the same thing about dudes with beards too, man. So we got to be careful.
Good try.
That wasn't a jab at you. I'm telling you the truth. I've heard the same shit. All right, whatever, nigga. Fuck you, man. Whatever, man. Nigga, just move to the next topic, man. God damn it. All right, what's next, Elgin? Motherfucker.
This topic is a little heavier, and we've never had this conversation before on this particular show. And with all of the recent gun violence that we've seen, or let me say it a little differently, with many of the high-profile cases of gun violence we've seen here lately, quote-unquote mass shootings that we've seen, the gun control debate has begun to rev up even more, and it is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's people wanting to ban assault rifles. It's people that wants to ban guns altogether. So there's a lot of different avenues and platforms out there right now. Your president Joe Biden came out really quickly and made some comments about guns, and your vice president Miss Harris came
why do you stop doing that shit, nigga? You think you slick. Stop that bullshit. Go ahead, man.
Has some comments about guns. So it's fascinating because I think when most people hear about gun debates, they immediately want to run to the NRA and say the NRA is the one. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. The NRA is not as powerful as they once were. The NRA for the past couple of years has been in deep financial problems.
They filed for bankruptcy recently.
The biggest proponents of making sure that assault rifles and things along those lines are easily accessible are gun manufacturers. The very people who are manufacturing the guns, which makes sense because capitalism is a monster that way. But gun control, where do you stand? What's your thoughts? And first off, condolences and prayers and all those things that go out to all the victims in these horrible situations of gun violence. I don't want to ignore that.
No, of course not. I think we need to tell the full story. So we have, more than 10 days ago, or about 10 or 11 days ago in Georgia, a crazy white man, and I'm putting that in quotes for those that are listening to this, crazy white man, went to different massage parlors across the Atlanta area, and ended up killing 8 people, 6 of them Asian women,
and 2 white women.
and 2 white women. So we have that happen, and not even 6 days afterwards, we have this shooting in Colorado at a King Soopers grocery store where 10 people were killed. Listen, as people that have enlisted, you and me, we understand what the deal is. I'm not against owning firearms. Oddly enough, maybe about a couple of days ago, my son, I've never talked to my son about guns and gun ownership or anything like that, but I think he might have heard one of our conversations.
Probably.
And he said, Dad, you said that you got rid of your guns when we were born. Why did you do that? And I told him, I said, well, to be honest with you, I was fearful of having guns in the home when they were kids, just to be on the safe side. I had no problems with getting rid of them.
Understood.
But in the same token, I think that there has to be some level of common sense. Now, what common sense looks like, or what ultimately we as a society decides that common sense and common sense regulation looks like, there are people that are a lot smarter than me that are debating that now, right? But I think anything that you overdo has the tendency to become a problem. Whether it's sugar, whether it's sex, whether it's anything, those things become an addiction and become a problem. Right now in the United States, there is a firearm for every man, woman, and child in this country. That's over 350 million firearms. There are a lot of people that don't carry. So you have all of these weapons concentrated in the hands of how many people?
Sure.
Like I said, this is not a debate on whether or not you should carry or you have the right to carry.
This is not a Second Amendment discussion.
It's not a Second Amendment conversation one bit.
No,
but what are we going to do to see that incidences like these can be mitigated in some capacity? Because let's take a step back. 2019, there were about 400 and some odd mass shootings. At least I believe that was the number, the last number, close to somewhere in that range, right? In 2020, that number jumped up by almost 30%, and we were in fucking lockdown.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that? How do you manage to say that even in the midst when people aren't really interacting with one another, that it increases? Like, we have to realize at some point that there is something that needs to be done. Now, once again, I will admit I'm not naive to the fact that I don't know what that answer is, but I think part of the argument that seems to be rumbling in most cases is that not only do people not know what that answer is, people can't even decide whether or not that's a conversation that we should be having.
And that's the part. I'm glad you chimed in on that piece right there, because my thing is I encourage people to have the conversations that they think they should not be having, the conversations that we tend to skirt over because we don't have all of the information. Well, that's how you get information, by sharing it back and forth and having conversations. Now, when I think of gun violence, I tend to think of gun violence that I see that happens in predominantly low socioeconomic, predominantly Black environments.
That's understood. I can see that.
Gun violence to me. Now, that doesn't mean that what I see happen in these other places across the world, and particularly in this country, that there's not a level of empathy and grief for the loss of life there. There is. But what I struggle with is when I see these things be deemed mass shootings, and then there's a level of outrage and a level of, now we want to do something with guns. But for years in parts of Chicago, North Philly, Memphis, all these predominantly Black areas where gun violence is through the fucking roof, we didn't have this same type of vitriol and wanting to do something with guns. So it was almost like it was okay when Black and brown folks were shooting each other with guns.
I can dig it.
But then when white women and white kids begin to start getting hurt, now we want to have this issue. But here's the thought. I think people should have access to guns. I think people should be able to carry guns. I think people should be able to buy guns. And again, I'm not a gun law expert, but it only makes sense to me that the same way that we go to get a driver's license, that we actually have to take a test. You have to get a permit. You have to actually take a physical test. And if you do something with that vehicle, you lose your license for a certain period of time. You're not able to drive if you get caught driving drunk or without insurance or without your seatbelt. Why not put something along those same lines in place for people who carry weapons? Get a permit. Got to get a license. If you get a license, you have to be able to demonstrate that you can clean the weapon, that you can properly care for the weapon, that you know the safety aspects of this particular weapon. All these different things.
But Elgin, you're putting more roadblocks in the way of legal gun owners to stop them from getting guns. It's not good folks with guns that you need to worry about. It's the bad folks with guns that you need to worry about. Because that's the argument you hear all the time. It's like, why are you putting these roadblocks in the way of folks that are doing it legally? The folks that are killing folks are not the legal guns are not really the issue. That's what I keep hearing anyway. That it's the folks like in Chicago that are selling them under the table and shooting each other in the streets. That's where the real problem is. That's where you need to focus.
And some of these motherfuckers need to go to actual gun shows and see some of the illegal
how that should happen.
Purchasing of
how that should happen. Don't let them fool you, my guy.
Don't let them fool you.
Don't let them fool you, my guy.
But I think that we have to begin to put some common sense things in place. I don't think the answer is to take things away from people and ban them from people, and those things still exist, because then you create a whole bigger underground economy.
Yeah, the whole prohibition thing, man.
I just think that's a bad idea, and I don't always think that just taking the guns away would prevent mass violence. I don't think so either. I think if people want to commit acts of violence, and
they're going to find a way to find.
They're going to find a way to do it.
They're going to find a way to do it. We're going to find a way to do it. I think one of the biggest things that gets me about this whole situation, and I think we've had this conversation regarding other incidences, is what comes across as an unwillingness to even sit down and talk about it, right?
Yeah, man.
Because both sides get into their corners, they hunker down. I mean, if anything, after kids died at Sandy Hook, after many kids died in the inner city from gun violence, and people, I don't know how you can deify something to that extent. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to have an argument, like get into a knockdown, drag out fight with somebody, talk to somebody who's really about their Second Amendment rights and tell them that they're like that they should curtail their gun purchasing or some nonsense like that. Dude, that is the worst conversation that you could ever have with a motherfucker, because you better be ready for it.
And I'm telling you, man, the biggest reason why there is not more common sense approach to gun laws in this country is because of money. It's literally because of money that certain groups are paying one group of politicians to push this. And it's literally, it has zero to do or very little to do about the loss of life or the potential loss of life. Man, it is about that bag.
It is. Like, let's keep it all the way funky right now. We know that right now the Democrats, and I'm using them specifically because they are the party that seems to be the most vocal about getting gun correction. And I put that in quotes as well, right? They have the House, they have the Senate, and they have the White House.
Oh, yeah, they have the White House. Yes.
If they really wanted to do something, they could do something right now.
Thanos.
There shouldn't be any questions, any debate about it. You wrangle the folks that you need to wrangle. Everybody be getting on board. We're going to vote, and we're going to vote to make sure that nobody, high capacity magazines are out the way. Assault rifles like the AR-15 are out the way. All of that stuff. But you see that now we're having this debate, and then the debate becomes, if anything needs to be done, then it needs to be done bipartisan.
Yep.
Nigga, kiss my ass, man. Like,
lives
all
are being lost. Thanos. Done.
Listen, my guy, this is one of the things that gets me all the time, man. I hate this argument about bipartisanship.
Oh, it's the stupidest shit on the planet.
Because at the end of the day, I don't think because the argument and the way they transition the argument is that the goal is to be bipartisan. And the end of the goal is to get results. I don't think about it. You had they just recently did a poll. Fox News did a poll, said 60% of voting Republicans agree with Joe Biden's stimulus plan. I don't think they give a fuck if it was a Democrat or a Republican that passed the bill to put money in their pockets. They just wanted money in their pockets. But there are people that are arguing that no, we can't do anything unless both sides agree to it. Like, nah, get the fuck out of here. I thought it was the job of you guys in Congress to get shit done.
Yeah.
So like I said, these folks, we're waiting for the Dems to see what they're going to do. I know it's just going to be a bunch of talk. We had Joe Biden go to Colorado. We had Kamala Harris go to Colorado. We have folks sending out their thoughts and prayers as they normally do, man.
As we do. We send out our thoughts and prayers to the victims.
No, don't get it twisted. But we're in a different position. There's not really much.
I don't have
we don't have policy power
to change
facts.
What's going on. But I can't act like and not acknowledge that the reason why this gun shit is not moving to the point where it's a more common sense safety approach, where everybody, with both of us, get the chance to keep their guns. You have the ability to buy guns. It's just some things that are put in place that make it safer for people who are not in the mental or emotional space to get them or prevent it. The reason why that doesn't take place is because motherfuckers are trying to make money.
They're trying to make that money. They're trying to make that money. Let's be fair then. I'm going to put it out to our audience, the folks that listen and watch us, man. If you have ideas of how to make gun ownership and gun safety better, that possibility of passing, I mean, we're just being, we're speculating here.
You have a magic wand.
Yeah, if you had the magic, exactly. Mm-hmm. If you had the magic bullet per se, what would you do to get this thing done? Or what would you say as one of the things?
Please.
Yeah. I'd love to
hit us up. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
No
let us know, how would you fix the gun? You have a magic wand to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, right about now is a time when we'd like to give you little tidbits of news or words of wisdom that you can take with yourself into the week. So, L, what's up?
Man, I just want people to take care of themselves, man. I'm constantly talking about going to therapy. You know, if you're having mental and emotional issues and you're struggling with, go see a therapist, man. But also take your behind to the doctor. Have regular checkups, regular physicals, blood work. Go get yourself together, man, because people are dying from preventable things that they should not be dying from. So go get yourself checked out, man. Please, for your family.
No doubt. For me, what's up this week, man, is pretty simple, man. Check on your family, check on your friends. Like I said earlier at the top of the hour, top of the show, young man, I forget his name now, and I apologize, passed away, committed suicide. Nobody knew that this dude had died for a couple of days. That brings us back to old boy that used to play for the Bucks, Vincent Jackson, and how he died and no one knew what was up with him for several days.
Bro.
Sometimes, man, my guy. Sometimes check on your people, man. Sometimes folks that say that they're all right, they're not really all right. And even if you've heard from them, make sure you hear from them again. You never know what position they're in or what position they're going to be in a couple of days from now. Like I said, a couple of weeks ago, for me, I was really in it. And I had an opportunity, lucky enough that I had people in my corner that I was able to talk to in the moment and get my mind right. You know what I mean? And that was just me feeling some sort of way, talk less of having suicidal thoughts or feeling so down and dejected or so pushed to the wall that was your only escape. So checking in on your folks, man.
Please.
L, where can these good people find you if they'd like to find you, man?
Twitter at Elgin Bailey.
No doubt. And I'm Big O, Mr. In the Black. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at MR_in the Black. And I want to thank you guys once again for joining us for another incredible episode of the In the Black podcast. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to kick it with us, and we appreciate it. Make sure you check us out across social media at In the Black PDCST, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you check us out as you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe, and don't forget to share this, man. Don't be a stingy ass. Go ahead and share it. And we'll be back next week. But until next time, as normal, informed, intelligent, in the black. Peace.